138 years ago, a pharmacist came out of his lab with a supposed cure for morphine addiction. 130 years later, his syrup is selling on almost all shop counters. Not medicine counters, mind you, as one of the world's most recognized drink. From Las Vegas to Lagos, from Casablanca to Cotonou, from London to Lebanon, this drink can be found in every nook and cranny. If there's any proof of globalization, then this drink is certainly it. What went wrong with this experiment? Better put, what went right with it? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode. This is the story of how the brand Coca-Cola has come to be a part of almost every life all over the world. During your lifetime, there is an almost 99% chance that you will have a drink of this syrup. I am no prophet, but if you are watching this, I am almost certain that you've had a drink of this syrup at some point in your life. Selling 2 billion servings per day, Coca-Cola is the most popular drink in the whole world, and by a wide margin. This beverage, essentially just sweetened carbonated water, is sold in all the countries of the world, with Cuba and North Korea the only exceptions. This drink, however, started as a remedy for morphine addiction and has a history that is as disturbing as it is interesting. This is the story of Coca-Cola. The American Civil War was a brutal conflict that tore the nation apart from 1861 to 1865. It wasn't just a fight for national unity. It was a necessary catalyst that would spell the end of slavery in the United States. However, amidst the clang of sabers and roars of cannons, something far less destructive was brewing. The Civil War, it turns out, played a surprising role in the birth of the world's most famous drink, Coca-Cola. While the story of this iconic beverage is far from simple, one thing is certain. Without the war, the refreshing concoction we know today might never have existed. One of the many figures swept up in the Civil War's tide was John Steed Pemberton, a Confederate soldier and a pharmacist. Like countless others, Pemberton returned home wounded, bearing the physical and emotional scars of battle. His injuries were so severe that doctors relied heavily on morphine to manage his pain in what they believed to be his final hours. But miraculously, he survived. This morphine, a lifesaver in a short time, became a cruel companion to Pemberton. He developed a dependence on the drug, a plight shared by many veterans struggling with what was then known as soldier's disease. Unable to tolerate the side effect and desperate to find relief, Pemberton turned to Vin Mariani, a Coca wine marketed at the time as the one for all ailments. Pemberton believed the drink was helping him overcome his reliance on morphine, and each glass seemed to make him feel better. This was not because Vin Mariani was medicinal. It was because it was essentially wine and cocaine. Being a chemist, John Pemberton ended up creating his version of the drink in 1885. He called it French wine Coca Nerve Tonic. It was essentially Vin Mariani with more ingredients. When Atlanta and Fulton County banned alcohol the next year, Pemberton had to take the wine out of his drink and replace it with carbonated water, which was also believed to be medicinal at the time. Pemberton's bookkeeper suggested they name the drink Coca-Cola, a reflection of the drink's two main ingredients, cocaine from coca leaves and caffeine from cola nut. Having removed the wine and selling it for 5 cents, Pemberton marketed his syrup as Coca-Cola, the temperance drink, which appealed to many people as the temperance movement enjoyed wide support during this time. Pemberton's new drink was marketed and sold as a patent medicine. Pemberton claimed it was a cure for many diseases, including morphine addiction, indigestion, nerve disorders, headache, and impotence. Since there were countless other patent medicines offering the same thing, Coca-Cola did not stand out. By 1888, 3 versions of Coca-Cola, sold by 3 separate businesses, were on the market. A co-partnership being formed on January 14, 1888 between Pemberton and 4 Atlanta businessmen, J.C. Mayfield, A.O. Murphy, C.O. Mulahi, and EH, Bloodworth. Not codified by any signed document, a verbal statement given by Asa Candler years later asserted under testimony that he had acquired a stake in Pemberton's company as early as 1887. John Pemberton declared that the name Coca-Cola belonged to his son, Charlie, who had become hooked to morphine too. Just as things were beginning to pick up with Coca-Cola, Pemberton's health spiraled downhill. He was diagnosed with stomach cancer. When the company was incorporated in March 1888, Charlie was listed as a major shareholder, alongside siblings Walker, Andosia, and Asa Candler. For $50 down and $500 in 30 days, Walker, Candler, and Co. bought off the shares of the Coca-Cola company that Charlie held. All the while, Charlie still held on to the name. After the April 14 deal, 3 days later, Candler acquired one half of the Walker Dozier interest shares for an additional $750. After Candler had gained a foothold on Coca-Cola in April 1888, he was forced to sell the beverage he produced with the receipt he had under the names Yum Yum and Coke, that is K, not C. This was while Charlie Pemberton was selling the elixir, although a cruder mixture under the name Coca-Cola. All this while his father was in his sickbed, with everyone knowing it was just a matter of time before he joined the greater beyond. After both names failed to catch on for Candler by the middle of 1888, the Atlanta pharmacist was quite anxious to establish a firmer legal claim to Coca-Cola and hoped he could force his two competitors, Walker and Dozier, completely out of the business as well. Pemberton's sudden demise in August of 1888 closed his chapter in the Coca-Cola story and offered Asa Candler a pristine opportunity to consolidate his hold on Coca-Cola brand. Some sources say Candler did not wait until the funeral was over before offering Pemberton's widow a proposal to buy the brand's name for $300. By the end of August, Candler had not only succeeded in acquiring the Coca-Cola name from Charlie, but he had also managed to buy out his two competitors, Margaret Dozier and her brother Wilford Walker. In 1892, Candler set out to incorporate a second company, the Coca-Cola Company. This is the company that we know today. Candler had the records of the earlier company completely destroyed. Although Coca-Cola's story began with John Pemberton's search for a solution to his morphine addiction, the drink is a worldwide brand today because of aggressive marketing, all thanks to Asa Candler's marketing acumen. Candler's first stroke of marketing was to contact all the local pharmacies in town and send their customers a piece of paper they could redeem for Coca-Cola. This is the first time coupons were ever used in recorded history. Since the product contained addictive content, this move endeared many customers to the brand and sales grew. Marketing Coca-Cola as a patent medicine had been a mistake, Candler thought. Why sell only to sick people when he could market the drink to everyone? Candler shifted strategy, and by simply positioning Coca-Cola as a relaxing drink that everyone could enjoy, he managed to kill two birds with one stone. By disassociating itself from the patent medicine industry, Coca-Cola was able to escape the flurry of regulations that soon greeted the industry, while widening its target market. With sales of the drink hitting the roof, Candler started reinvesting more and more money in advertising. He hired actors and athletes to promote the drink. So much of the success of the drink was because of the positive image Candler put in people's mind of what the drink represents. Happiness. Candler went as far as featuring Santa Claus wearing red and always holding a Coke, entrenching in the minds of kids the connection between Coca-Cola and the joy of Christmas. The story of how Santa Claus became red is one of the most remarkable marketing achievements in the history of marketing. Here's the story in brief. The iconic image of Santa Claus, pleasantly plump, jolly, with a snowy white beard and clad in a bright red suit, has become synonymous with Christmas cheer. But this beloved figure wasn't always the Santa Claus we know today. In fact, the transformation of Santa Claus into a universally recognized symbol of holiday joy is largely credited to the Coca-Cola Company. In the 1920s, Coca-Cola began its Christmas advertising campaign to boost sales during the slower winter months. Initially, the company experimented with various depictions of Santa Claus, but none resonated with the public. It wasn't until 1931 that the magic truly happened. Actually, an advertising executive for Coca-Cola sought to create a Santa that embodied the warmth and the spirit of the season. He turned to Haddon Sundblom, a talented illustrator to bring this vision to life. Drawing inspiration from Clement Moore's classic poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas, and his own Scandinavian heritage, Sundblom created the image of Santa Claus that will forever change the holiday landscape. This Santa was not only jolly and approachable, but also exuded a sense of realism and wholesomeness that endeared him to millions. For over 30 years, Coca-Cola used Sundblom Santa in its advertising, solidifying this version of Santa Claus as a definitive image in the public's mind. By the time Sundblom painted his final Santa Claus for Coca-Cola in 1964, the transformation was complete. The Santa Claus that once existed in various forms had been united into the iconic figure we cherish today, all thanks to Coca-Cola's marketing. In many ways, Coca-Cola didn't just popularize Santa Claus, it fathered the modern image of Father Christmas, shaping the very essence of holiday traditions for generations to come. The marketing genius of Candler left no stone unturned, or any industry untouched. It went as far as creating statistics department to analyze both foot and motor traffic to get the most effective places to put their ads, and it paid off handsomely. As Candler had been satisfied with Coca-Cola's success as a soda fountain drink. However, this comfortable trajectory changed when two lawyers, Benjamin Thomas and Joseph Whitehead, proposed bottling the beverage at no cost to the company. Intrigued by the risk-free offer, Candler agreed to a deal granting them bottling rights for a mere 5 cents per bottle. This seemingly innocuous decision would have far-reaching consequences. Bottled Coca-Cola became a sensation, exponentially outpacing fountain sales. While this should have been a boon for the company, the indefinite nature of the 5-cent agreement proved to be a costly oversight. As production costs rose, Candler found himself in a precarious position. To rectify the situation, Coca-Cola was forced into lengthy legal battles and ultimately had to repurchase some of the bottling rights it had originally granted. Ironically, the overwhelming success of bottled Coca-Cola inspired the creation of the iconic contour bottle that the drink is sold in today. The result of this arrangement also informed the franchise manner the company operates today. It produces the syrup and supplies it to bottling companies, who then dilute it with carbonated water, bottle it, and sell it. A year after the end of the bottling saga, Candler was elected mayor of Atlanta and handed over the company to his children. When Candler bought the company in 1888, it cost him just $2,300. When Candler sold the company to a group of investors led by Ernest Woodruff's Trust Company in 1919, it was for $25 million, $373 million in today's dollars. It was the biggest financial deal in the history of America at the time, a testament of the work Candler did on the brand. Having played his part in making the drink what was otherwise an obscure concoction a household name in America, Candler was more than happy to relay the baton and watch from the sidelines as Coca-Cola attempted to become a global brand. Ernest Woodruff took Coca-Cola public in 1919 and offered 500,000 shares of the company for $40 per share. This move from a private company to a public one better equipped Coca-Cola for global dominance. Woodruff streamlined Coca-Cola's production process and ensured that it maintained the quality of the drink produced in any of its plants. Woodruff retired as president of the company, convincing his son Robert to take his place in 1923. Coca-Cola had been reducing the cocaine content in its drink. Under Robert's leadership, the company began using its spent coca leaves in place of the usual coca leaves, effectively eliminating cocaine from the formula. The company introduced a 6-pack Coca-Cola in 1923, the metal cap in 1929, and automatic dispensers in 1933. Coca-Cola soon cemented its place as a symbol of American culture, but had little success replicating the same in Europe and would rely on another war to make headway there. The outbreak of World War II brought sugar rationing to the United States, a critical ingredient for Coca-Cola. However, through aggressive lobbying, the company secured an exemption, claiming the beverage was essential for troops' morale. To solidify this image, Coca-Cola pledged to provide every soldier with a 5-cent Coke, regardless of cost, or wherever the war took them. This patriotic stand boosted the brand's goodwill and led to increased production, with 64 new bottling plants established worldwide, often with the support of the United States government. While the fortunes of most companies dwindled during the war, Coca-Cola's global reach expanded rapidly. This patriotic facade concealed the more complex reality. While the company projected an image of American idealism, its operation in Nazi Germany revealed the different side. To appeal to the German market, Coca-Cola distanced itself from its American roots and even distributed its product at Hitler rallies. This duplicity reached its peak when the wartime syrup shortages forced the German branch under Max Kate to develop a new drink vaguely similar to Coke, made from the leftovers of fruits like apple fiber, what has now come to be known as Fanta. By the end of the war, Fanta had spread from Germany to other parts of Europe. Today, Coca-Cola is the second most recognized brand in the whole world, behind Nike, and sells additional products like Fanta, Diet Coke, and Schweppes. Before Robert retired from the company in 1984, he kept a paper on his table that read, "There is no limit to what a man can do or where he can go if he doesn't mind who gets the credit." Coca-Cola's rich history and its role in shaping global culture shows how the brand has evolved far beyond its origin. Today, Coca-Cola is not just a beverage, it is a symbol of refreshment, tradition, innovation, enjoyed by people across the world. Coca-Cola continues to thrive as a global powerhouse, with a market capitalization exceeding $260 billion. The company generates annual revenues of $45 billion, cementing its place as one of the most valuable brands in the whole world. Every day, more than 1.9 billion servings of Coca-Cola products are consumed in over 200 countries, making it a truly ubiquitous presence in the daily lives of millions. The brand's journey from a simple soda to a global icon shows its enduring appeal and adaptability. The story of Coca-Cola is far from over. It is a continual legacy of refreshment and joy that will likely endure for generations to come. For business people and those who seek for greatness, Coca-Cola holds lessons that you can learn and apply in your business. So, what lessons have you learned from this episode? Share with us in the comment box. Thank you for watching, and until I see you again, bye bye.